A simple road trip turned into a nationwide search. Before we dive into this case, hit subscribe, unless you're afraid of what you might uncover. Every click pulls you deeper into the truth. The storm had already rolled through the Wyoming desert by the time officers found the abandoned van. It sat crooked on the gravel shoulder, dust pressed against the windows like a second skin. To anyone driving past, it looked like a vehicle that had simply broken down. But the moment Deputy Hale approached, he felt something was wrong. The back door was unlocked. A phone charger dangled from the dashboard. The keys were gone, but someone had left a half-finished notebook on the passenger seat, the last sentence cut off mid-word as if someone had been interrupted. The van belonged to 23-year-old couple Hannah Pierce and Tyler Wynn. They had been on a cross-country road trip, posting smiling photos from national parks, diners, and long desert highways. Everything looked perfect on social media until the posts suddenly stopped. Their families hadn't heard from them in 3 days, and now, the van sat alone in a stretch of land where cell service barely existed. The temperature was dropping fast. And there was no sign of either of them. Detectives arrived within the hour, and the investigation began with a simple question. Why would two travelers leave their only means of transportation in the middle of nowhere? A search of the area turned up nothing at first. No footprints. No signs of a struggle. No indication of where they went. But the notebook inside the van caught attention. The handwriting belonged to Hannah. On the last page she wrote about an argument, something about Tyler wanting to take a detour that made her uneasy. The final line read, "I don't like how he's been acting since we met that man at the station," and ended abruptly. Investigators checked security footage from the last gas station the couple visited. There they were, Hannah paying for snacks, Tyler talking to a stranger wearing a grey hoodie. The stranger wasn't doing anything unusual, but the camera captured Tyler glancing over his shoulder repeatedly. It wasn't fear, it looked more like anticipation. Almost as if he was waiting for something to happen. The stranger in the grey hoodie remained unidentified. The gas station clerk remembered him only because he didn't buy anything, didn't use the restroom, and didn't speak. He just lingered near the entrance, watching people come and go. When detectives reviewed the footage from outside, they saw something odd: the stranger walking behind the couple to their van, pausing, and then turning away quickly when Hannah looked back. By nightfall, a full search team was deployed across the surrounding desert. Drones swept the area. Officers drove every dirt trail and back road. The couple was nowhere. But just as the search teams prepared to regroup, a radio call came through. A second vehicle had been found several miles away, a dark SUV, engine still warm, registered to no one. No plates. No documents. And inside its glove compartment was a folded map marked with the same route Hannah and Tyler had planned to drive. But there was something else, a single note written on the back of the map. The discovery of the note shifted the entire investigation. "Stop looking." 2 words that could mean anything, but detectives understood the message was intentional. Someone knew the couple was missing. Someone had been following their route closely enough to leave a warning before investigators even arrived. The question was simple but terrifying: how long had they been watching? Detective Mara Keaton took the lead. She studied the SUV carefully: no fingerprints, no identifiable materials, not even a trace of dust on the steering wheel. It was wiped clean with precision. Whoever abandoned it didn't panic or rush. They were methodical. They wanted to hide their identity, but not their presence. It felt like a taunt. Keaton ordered the vehicle to be towed for further analysis and turned her attention back to the map inside the glove compartment. There was a faint circle drawn around a location in Utah, an empty rest stop in the middle of the desert. Nothing around it for miles. Investigators drove to that location immediately. The rest stop looked deserted, just 2 concrete benches, faded road signs, and a lone vending machine humming under a flickering light. But beneath the bench closest to the road, detectives found a torn piece of fabric caught on a bolt. A soft pink color. Hannah had been wearing a pink jacket the day they left the gas station. It was the first physical sign that she had been at the location. But there was something else. In the dirt near the bench, agents uncovered a set of tire tracks, not from the couple's van, but from a different vehicle, likely an older pickup truck. The tracks continued into a restricted access road that wasn't visible on most maps. A road that led deeper into the desert, toward a series of abandoned service buildings left from an old highway reroute decades earlier. By now, national media had picked up the story. A missing couple on a cross-country trip spread across news stations from New York to California. Family members made emotional pleas for information. Search teams doubled. Volunteers arrived from neighboring states. But for every step investigators took forward, something pushed back. A witness reported seeing the couple near a truck stop in Nevada, but footage didn't support it. Another caller claimed they heard shouting near the highway, but the timeline didn't match. It felt like someone was feeding misinformation, turning the investigation into a maze. Then came the first real breakthrough. Forensics teams examining the couple's abandoned van found something that had been missed during the initial sweep, a second notebook tucked deep under the driver's seat. This one belonged to Tyler. Most entries were casual travel notes, until the final pages. In them, Tyler wrote that a man had approached him at the gas station. The man claimed he knew a shortcut to a scenic lookout and insisted the couple follow him. Tyler said he declined, but the man stayed near their van afterward. Tyler wrote, "I think he followed us. Hannah is worried. I might be too." Detective Keaton flipped the last page. It detailed the moment before their disappearance. Tyler wrote that he saw headlights behind them for several miles. When he pulled over to check the tires, the other vehicle stopped too. The entry ended with, "If anything happens to us." The rest of the page had been ripped out. Carefully. Intentionally. And that page wasn't found anywhere in the van. But hours later, as teams searched the restricted service road by drone, they spotted something half buried in the dirt. A piece of paper flapping in the wind. The missing notebook page. And on it, a single name. A name investigators had seen once before in security footage at the gas station. The man in the grey hoodie. The name on the missing notebook page was short. Just 5 letters. But it was enough to ignite the investigation. Detectives entered it into every database available, criminal records, missing persons registries, state ID logs, and finally found a match. The man in the grey hoodie wasn't a ghost. He was a drifter named Owen Reddick, known for moving from state to state, taking short-term jobs, and disappearing before anyone learned much about him. No major criminal record, no known address, no immediate motive. But he had been spotted in multiple states within days of the couple's disappearance. Detective Keaton looked closer at his records. One detail stood out. Reddick had previously worked at a remote construction site on the same restricted road they were now searching. It placed him directly in the zone where the clues ended. And it suggested one chilling possibility: he knew the land better than anyone else. Search teams expanded the grid, and by sunrise, they located the abandoned service buildings. The structures were falling apart, nothing but cracked concrete and rusted beams. But near the back of the largest building, they found fresh footprints and a discarded water bottle. Someone had been there recently, very recently. Keaton ordered everyone to sweep the area. Inside the building, searchlights revealed a narrow storage room sealed with a heavy metal door. It wasn't locked, but it hadn't been opened in years. Dust collected on every surface except for a clean streak down the middle, as if it had been pushed open not long ago. Officers pulled the door cautiously, and the hinges groaned as dust clouded the air. Inside, they found what they had been hoping and fearing to find. 2 sleeping bags. An empty food container. A half-burned candle. None of it suggested luxury, but it told a clear story. Someone had been staying here recently. Someone who wasn't planning to stay for long. But still, no sign of Hannah or Tyler. A rusted metal shelf sat against the wall. On top of it, detectives found a small object, Hannah's phone. Dead, covered in dust, but unmistakably hers. Next to it was a folded receipt from a gas station 2 states away. Time-stamped 12 hours earlier. It wasn't from the couple. It was from Reddick. The realization hit hard. He was on the move. And he was staying ahead of them. Detective Keaton ordered an immediate alert across state lines, urging authorities to watch for any vehicle that matched his description. Hours passed. Leads came and went. The country was watching now: news alerts, social media threads, highway banners. Everyone was looking for the same man. Then, just after midnight, a call came in from a patrol unit near the Colorado border. A car had been found parked along a ridge overlooking a canyon. An officer approached cautiously with backup. The air was cold, quiet, and still. The headlights from their cruiser swept across the ridge, illuminating two figures sitting at the edge, exhausted, shaken, wrapped in blankets. Hannah and Tyler. They had escaped on foot hours earlier when Reddick left them alone in the desert encampment. They wandered through the night until they reached the ridge road and flagged down help. Their statements later revealed that Reddick had grown increasingly paranoid, believing he was being watched. When he stepped away from the camp, they seized their only chance to run. A manhunt followed, but Reddick vanished into the canyon range before officers arrived. Sightings were reported for weeks, but none confirmed. Eventually, the case shifted from urgent search to long-term surveillance. Hannah and Tyler returned home, safe but forever changed. And the final twist came months later, when Detective Keaton received an anonymous envelope with no return address. Inside was a single piece of paper. A map. Marked with a new location. And beneath it, the same two words that started everything. Stop looking.